In our next chapter, we find our princess playing games of make-believe and dress-up. She intricately weaves spells of impish mischief and merriment through her performances, each one a bewitching mosaic of her own feelings, carefully constructed to delight her kingdom. Our princess was finding herself, finding her voice, and her subjects were responding. As her kingdom grew, her garden began to flourish, full of hopes and dreams and wishes that were coming true. Most importantly, a future so desired slowly began to appear. Our princess grew so bold that for the first time she ventured outside her magical realm and into the mortal world. With her faceless companion by her side, she sprinkled her exuberance like glitter upon all she met, bounding out with such glee, eager to meet everyone. She moved through the mortal world, seemingly without a thought in her sheltered naivete. She frolicked and tested boundaries, not yet aware of the monster that grew in strength behind her, completely oblivious to the shadows that hadn't yet grown teeth. When everything was quiet and our princess still and alone, she could hear it gently whispering in her ear, the softest hiss, telling her things that she would dare not admit. Her monster was slowly taking shape, planting the smallest seed of doubt, tendrils seeking their way in, probing and poring at the edges of her psyche. But that's all it takes, you see. Just one fear. One fear to be nurtured and fed to give the monster what it hungers for, what it craves. She doesn't realize yet that soon the beautiful garden of hopes and dreams will be plunged into darkness as her monster grows. As the darkness spreads, it would come to consume everything. Welcome back, Nuggets. This mother clucker has some thoughts. Let's ruffle some feathers and get into the video. Welcome to Chapter 3 of the early years of the one, the only Eugenia Cooney. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't watched Chapters 1 and 2 yet, I do recommend that you go watch those first, just because we're moving through thematically roughly 2011 to 2013. But today we actually have a bit more of a light topic because we're going to be looking at her early pranks and skits. This is an aspect of Eugenia that we really don't get to see anymore, and it's fun. So let's just enjoy this little reprieve and let's take a look at how amusing Eugenia Cooney can be. Mischief making, the playful period. Okay, so our first clip is from a You Now stream where she's basically prank calling people, and this is what she comes up with. I think she's actually reading what the viewers are writing as she speaks to the person on the phone.
Hi, is this Miguel? This is I'm actually the secret admirer of your son. Could you put him on the phone? Tell him I've been watching him for a long time, and ever since grade school, I've always had a huge crush on him. I watch him while he sleeps sometimes, because I love him so much, and I like to watch over him. And I want to adopt a llama with him. Well, I've seen him naked, and that just really left a big impression. I like the way he types in the keyboard. And I actually haven't washed my hands or clothes since he touched it. April Fool!
So, like, again, I cannot imagine the current Eugenia doing anything like this. I mean, it's kind of just silly 17-year-old fun, isn't it? I think it's fairly harmless, but she's just experimenting with things. And I think that experimentation and trying new things is not something that we see from her now after the full regression. This next clip, I am going to have to find a way to get around what's being said, because I do not think I can play this next prank on YouTube. Some of the stuff that comes out of this girl's mouth is like, what? Anyway, it's a short on Love Eugenia Cooney's channel, so if you want to see the full thing, like uncensored, please go nuts, go see it. It's a watch. Okay, so maybe what I might do with this one is leave the little text thing at the top. You can read it if you so please. But I cannot play the audio of this. This is obscene. This is a 17-year-old girl. And I was shocked. I couldn't believe it, because what I was thinking while I was listening to this clip was she did a live stream with Jeffrey and Paul on TikTok, and they kind of tricked her into a conversation that really sounds like she didn't know what they were saying. That she was just kind of awkwardly agreeing with them and just kind of wanting to be part of the conversation but not knowing what was going on. But hearing what just came out of this girl's mouth at 17, I no longer think she doesn't know things. I don't think she is as naive as she likes to present, but maybe this Eugenia that is currently being portrayed was a route that she was uncomfortable going down, and maybe that caused her to pull back because it wasn't resonating with her values. But here's the clip I was talking about with Paul.
The April showers.
We love a nice... Eugenia, do you like golden showers, honey, or you're not into that?
I love the golden showers. Like, that's the best type, isn't it? I mean, what would be prettier than golden raindrops, right? Like, just falling from the sky.
You know what, Eugenia? I agree with that. Gold is one of my favorite colors.
Yeah,
What's
it's a
better than a regular
beautiful
shower,
color.
but a golden one?
Exactly,
Absolutely.
Paul. Yes, it's like, I think, Jeffrey, you must like the golden showers, right?
If he's gargling.
Yeah. It's the best type of shower.
Just give me... That's the end of the advertisement. It's the best kind of shower, you hear?
Oh my gosh, like, Jeffrey, like, maybe if you made like some golden shower products, like, I would buy them.
Maybe if we made them,
Oh my god, you guys, help!
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, this is
Oh my
pretty
god,
exciting.
Paul, I had to cry in the pillow for a second. I'm so sorry, everyone.
So, I mean, watching this and judging by Jeffrey and Paul's reaction, she totally had them fooled with this. So even they, who are dealing with her today and clearly haven't watched her old stuff, are fully buying into this little girl innocent image that she's portraying. And it's almost like what we're viewing here has been lost to history, because how many people watching her have this kind of context that we're learning? This is why, by the way, I'm loving going through year by year, and I'm looking to do this with other people as well, because you just get so much of an insight watching everything that came out. Yeah, so tell me what you think. My personal feeling on this is that she has an image of herself in her head. I'm not necessarily talking about the image that she has online, but such a large part of her self-image is being the helpless little girl who goes to Disney and squeals at getting money online. And it's not that I think that she doesn't know what she's saying in that clip, but it's almost not something that she can acknowledge as part of herself anymore, because she is not a 30-year-old woman. She is still that young teenage girl. And I think what we're seeing is actually that she had been developing up to a certain point, but then fully regressed to an age that is younger than we just saw on the previous censored clip. So it's really interesting. And I can tell you that I actually had something really similar happen to me. So I also had severe arrested development. And I probably hit my peak confidence around the 19-year-old age, but then completely regressed all the way back to being completely helpless after that. So I almost wonder if it's something to do with experimenting to step out into the adult world, but then realizing that the adult world has a lot of responsibilities and a lot of people counting on you, and you have to start making your own choices. And I think that, in a nutshell, is what is causing the regression. And of course, with the regression happening potentially naturally due to anxiety, I also had my mother there fully encouraging it and fully teaching me to go in that direction. Because I imagine being a mother that can't let go of the childhood image of their offspring, it would be quite confronting to be watching them come into adulthood and not wanting them to leave, not wanting them to progress past that childhood stage. So whether or not that's happening with Eugenia, we can't say for sure. Look, we're not there. Tell me what you think, though. This is just my perspective and what I see through my filter, and I'd be very interested to hear what you have to say. Okay, so this next bit is the beginning of Eugenia making a pest of herself. She has a couple of these in 2013. I don't know if we will be blessed with future ones in future years. I really, really hate this kind of thing. If people are doing this to me on the street, you're not getting a nice response. I'm sorry. But she's basically just walking around asking people inane or inappropriate questions and pestering everybody that she possibly can. I do give her credit for the confidence behind this, you know. So she's gone out into the world. She's approaching strange people, which if anyone here listening has done a sales position, you have to do cold calling, or you know that this is really difficult. I'm sure that she's so uncomfortable doing this and knowing how anxious she is, but you know, she's out there doing it. She is royally annoying people though. Not much more to add until this happens.
This is my new Rudolph. Ow, these are flies.
Yeah, not mine. With those spiked heels.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Ready?
So she's gotten on a bike, I assume without permission, with spiked heels on, and these bikes are worth so much money. And see what I mean? This is so cringe. This cringe thing that she had going on, I think could have had longevity, but maybe it's a case of, I can tell you with anxiety, sometimes you will find a little bit of bravery and you will just decide to do something and go through with it, even though this is not something that you would normally do. And maybe something cool happened. Maybe you had a dopamine release. Maybe it finished well, or maybe in this case, she uploaded it and it got a really good response, because I mean, this kind of thing is still popular today, right? So then even though you're experiencing the anxiety and maybe you've had some time to think about it, and you start going, oh, I don't know if that was good. Maybe I should just get through it and do it again because I got such a good response, or I had such a good experience, even though I'm having all of these awkward thoughts about it. So sometimes you can then find the courage to repeat something. But I can tell you, if she is experiencing anxiety around these particular videos, it gets harder and harder to repeat this kind of thing. I can see maybe 2 repeats, maybe 3, but after a bit, you start extrapolating in your mind the whole scenario and how certain things are awkward and how some people react badly, or, you know, you eventually talk yourself out of it.
Oh, those are your kids? Okay. And are they looking for a match right now?
No.
They're not. Okay. 'Cause I have like a younger department for my dating site as well. So if they're interested in, like, you know, getting to date, I would love to be assistance.
So, I mean, this is so inappropriate. I actually heavily edited this clip, even though it's on her channel still. There are a lot of very young children in swimwear, which I don't feel super good about putting online, and I do not think she should have either. But again, she's just pestering everybody on the beach. So this is a new thing that she's trying. Prank related, yes, just generally making a pest of herself. And so see what I mean? Being able to make your mistakes in private. I mean, where are my millennials at? I suppose she's technically a millennial too, but like, you got to do this rubbish offline. You got to be embarrassing, you got to be cringe, you got to do it all, and there's no proof of it, right? Except maybe on like a home video somewhere in your parents' attic. I don't know. But Eugenia has to have all of this still online. People remember this about her, and it's not going to be as easy for her to move on from this person as it would have been for all of us. And so she's making these mistakes. That question was wildly inappropriate, and it doesn't age well. It's horrendous. And she's 18 here, but we're all looking at a 30, possibly 30-something now when we're watching it, and it doesn't age well. And that's got to be difficult for her. Okay, so this is the last one of this type in 2013, and she's just cruising around in the car park of this theatre. Now, something you may have noticed, a lot of these clips, she is not holding the camera. So somebody is there with her. Who do you think is there with her? It's never said. I'd be interested to know who you think it is. I think I know who it is. But this kind of running around being a pest, sticking a camera in people's faces is just not it. So hopefully we won't continue down this road in the future years. Creative freedom. Early comedy days. Okay, so we're now traveling into skit territory. There's quite a few of these, and this is, again, I think Eugenia trying to evolve from making fun of herself dancing and doing the prank stuff, and now we're actually getting into some constructed comedy skits. Some of these are out and out skits. Some of them are just her not taking herself seriously while making normal videos, but let's get into it.
Hi guys! I know I'm a little late on this, but I really couldn't talk about it for a long time because it just makes me so upset to even think about this. Nickelodeon just continues to ruin my life. Sometimes when I watch shows like Victorious and iCarly and Big Time Rush, I start to feel like I know the characters and like I have a relationship with them. And now I feel like I have no friends in the world because all my relationships are over because my favorite shows are canceled. My heart is broken. You do not cancel Big Time Rush, or else.
Do you see what I mean? The sense of humor. You've got to give her credit for that. Where did that Eugenia go and when did it go? I am going to find out that answer. I do have an inkling as to the point that I think it may have been, but if you're on this journey with me, I am really keen to see.
Hey guys, it's Eugenia, and today I'm going to talk about a very, very serious subject to me. That is the subject of the Lepidoptera. For those of you who don't know, a Lepidoptera is the scientific name for the butterfly. And basically just tell you guys all the reasons that the butterfly is just the best animal in the world.
So I think this video probably hit a sore spot with people. The butterfly, the blue butterfly in particular, is a symbol for certain websites and certain communities who support this kind of condition. And whether she was trying to do that or whether she's just trolling, I really couldn't tell you because we've seen so much of her, making fun of herself and things like that. So I don't know if this is intentional for the way it comes off.
I think that there's way too much bullying in the world. There's also just so many complainers in the world, always complaining about the problems in their lives. I just think that we should be more like butterflies and we should not bully people and we should not complain so much. And we all could take a lesson from these beautiful creatures.
So I was actually really surprised to hear this "we've just got to be kind, we've just got to be nice" narrative starting this early. I hear that so much from her, like, currently. Yeah, I had no idea that this is where it started because where it starts makes a bit more sense than where it ends. Where it ends, it seems like just this wall that she puts down in front of herself saying, no, you can't say anything bad about me. Everybody should just be nice to each other. And that's what I'm trying to put out. And I'm just a really nice person. And unfortunately, that comes across as a little bit tone deaf because there has been aspects of Eugenia Cooney not being a nice person. I think it's really interesting to see where all of these things started and why I wanted to do these deep dives like this, because going through and watching all of her content like this has given me so much more of an insight into Eugenia Cooney than the little bits and pieces that I've been able to grab here and there.
My number one favorite thing about butterflies is there's some pretty good twerkers. As I'm sure you guys already know, I'm totally the twerking queen. And it is just like they are twerking those wings together. I think that we could all definitely take some twerking lessons from our friends, the butterflies.
Where did this girl go? She's funny, she's making fun of herself, she's confident, she's cool. I wonder what this girl would think of her current self, the woman she turned into.
Hi guys, The Golden Girls is one of my favorite shows in the world. I think it's time that I share some of the amazing things that I've learned from my girls, the Golden Girls. Dorothy taught me how to look smart and sophisticated. Blanche taught me how to look sexy. Rose taught me how to look cute and sweet in a Minnesota kind of way. Sophia taught me how to look old and wrinkled in a sexy kind of way.
So again, I don't I don't know. What do you make of this? There's an element that she's putting forward that would appeal to a certain community. And it's that gradual getting used to and getting comfortable with certain actions that I think we see probably peak in, what would it be, like 2021? I remember that there's a video of her on a beach struggling to open a chair, right? And there's a certain eccentric interest that people pay a lot of money to see that kind of thing. She's a very petite, very frail girl struggling with certain tasks. And I just think that things that we've just seen there is on a path that maybe she didn't intend to go down, but she's gradually getting herself comfortable with it. It's almost like, the G rooming word to herself in a way.
Hey guys, I'm sure that you're all just such huge Disney fans, because who isn't? So I'm gonna teach you guys how to get ready for the perfect Disney trip so you can have such a magical day, and so you can basically be practically perfect in a Disney way.
Okay, so she goes through all of her, what I'm sure is a lot of money, all of her kitsch from Disney. She actually went to Disney a few times over this period that I'm covering, and there's even a photo where she's in the same ride that we covered in my previous video. So we're really stuck on loop. And why is Disney such a core component? Why does everything seem to revolve around her online presence and Disney, and it seems to be just those two things, and Jeffrey, if you want to count him? And what is it about that locks in so much comfort for her? It makes me wonder if maybe there was something traumatic in her childhood, and is she going back to a point before that trauma to like recapture the nostalgia almost from that moment, to go back to a time where everything was magical and everything was perfect and pretty, and we're recapturing it? What do you think?
Hi everybody! First of all, I know that my hair looks terrible today. I'm sorry about that. I've been trying to make it work for like the last hour.
Okay, we are focusing on our appearance. Did anybody notice that her hair looked bad? Like, legitimate question, because I'm not sure what she's seeing, but it does not translate to me as a viewer. I think it looks the same as it always does. So I think this is highlighting that kind of fixation and nitpicking thing that she has about herself. And I don't know if you've noticed, but through these clips already, like this early, she's still checking herself in the viewfinder of the camera. It was from pretty much day dot that she's doing this. This kind of physical fixation, I think, is so overwhelming for her, the most important priority in her life, which, as we can see, has been quite a sheltered life. And sadly enough, I actually understand that. And I think it's not until you force yourself to get out into the world and out into challenges and failures and successes where you start to reprioritize things in your life, things that actually matter, where it's almost like she's been allowed to indulge in a way.
These might be some reasons that your boyfriend may have dumped you. If you tried to kill your boyfriend, that definitely might make him break up with you.
Do I have to blur this? Do I have to censor that? I mean, this is online on her YouTube channel anyway, but my goodness.
You don't want to be like calling him every second, seeing where he is. Why are you at my house? Why aren't you in my bed right now? You don't want to be like that. That's not good. You also don't want to follow him around. Like, if this is my boyfriend, you don't want to follow him around everywhere he goes, because that just might be a little bit creepy.
And this is the first official appearance of Jack Skellington as her boyfriend.
Hey guys, this is how you ruin someone's Christmas. Go get this stocking or any stocking and just start sticking them on people's heads like they're hats, basically. Then you could really take things to the next level and just start ringing bells in everyone's faces. If you really want to ruin someone's Christmas, this is probably the biggest way to do it. Y'all know this isn't true, but tell them that Santa isn't real. I can't believe Santa isn't real.
I think these skits are really creative, and she clearly does not continue these. I'm not exactly sure when these stop, but again, I think we're looking at a path of least resistance thing. So to come up with skits like this, to come up with jokes and characters and things that you're going to talk about. This all takes effort. You go through all of this effort, you edit it, you upload it, and then it might not go anywhere. It might be completely useless. So you've challenged yourself for no reason in essence. And the thing is, when it comes to any action in life, whether that is a direct action or whether it's just inaction is still in itself an action. We become what we practice. And when we're taught the path of least resistance early in our life, it becomes something that is taught and then practiced over time. And then eventually you take it over past your teaching from, say, in this case, the mother. And then all of a sudden, the path of least resistance starts to look comfortable. It starts to look known. It starts to look practiced because you've been practicing it and now you're really good at it. And it becomes this very narrow, blinkered way of life. And then there's that other road, not the road of least resistance, the road of most resistance, the road of challenges, the road of lessons, the road of accomplishment. Looks uncontrollable, looks unfamiliar, and looks completely terrifying. So now this thing that you've been practicing your whole life, that you've become so good at, causes you to turn away from things that might be really healthy for you because it feels familiar and safe. One of the most dangerous things, in my opinion, if you are someone that struggles with motivation or fear or direction of any kind, one of your biggest enemies is the state of comfort. Nothing progressive, nothing good, nothing groundbreaking comes from being comfortable. Be uncomfortable, challenge yourself, try new things. In my life, at least, I can tell you from experience, those are the things that the best things in my life have come from. Do with that what you will. So, final thoughts on this video. I think ultimately it's really shocking to see the contrast of what she was versus how she is now, and the noticeable decline just in personality, just in sense of humor and effort into her job, which I think is completely understandable with what I imagine would be some pretty heckin' brain fog going on. If we're talking about it from a malnutrition perspective, it really does impact your cognitive functioning. So she's still obviously looking for that path of least resistance. How do I earn a wage, or how do I stay relevant, which I think is probably more her currency, while doing the least effort and energy required because I do not have much to give anymore. But back then, of course, in 2013, we're seeing that she had so much vim for what she was doing. And I do think this speaks to the fact that ultimately her online persona has been detrimental to her condition, because it has allowed her to continue down this path. You know, what if she was in a situation where her parents couldn't support her, or where she couldn't support herself online, but had to go out into the world and get an education and get a normie job and go through the challenges that everybody else goes through in their life? It may not have gotten quite as bad as it did. Thank you so much again for watching this video. There is going to be one more chapter in this era that we're doing, and then we will be on to 2014, and I'm really excited to see what she's got in store for us there. All right, that's all the clucks I have left to give today. Stay golden, my little nuggets, and I'll catch you next time.
Hey, 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 hey! I'm gonna go watch another video. Let's go!